All right, everybody, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in 3 categories: education, storyteller and drama, and arts. For 5 years and with over 280 weekly episodes and 64 million plus downloads, the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast has provided advice and tips from international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest judges and winners, and industry professionals. It is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard to help the aspiring writer and artist no matter their age, race, ethnicity, or gender. It is dedicated to the future of storytelling and art by showing that it is never too late to start, and those who make it are those who never give up. We are all busy, but I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment and vote now. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in any or all 3 of the categories: education, storyteller drama, or art.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition Into the Night with me, Sean Kelly, your host. Hello, Sebastian, Michelle, Cindy. Good to see you guys and ladies, guy and ladies. Well, what a week, huh? What a week. It seems like, there's a lot more people out there watching my Sunday night show and, of course, watching my Tuesday night show. So if anybody could be, watching this, could you please share it with your friends and families or whatever so we could get a little bit more people in the chat room? But what a week, huh? I'm telling you, it just, I don't know if, Mother Nature has something against us or something. Have we been bad? But it's been so damn hot, you know. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be the high 70s here in Pittsburgh. Thank goodness. Because we do definitely need some cool days. It's been hot forever. But you know what? We need to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi for allowing me to spend an hour here with you on this platform on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights. And I also want to thank Carnation for sponsoring my show too. So, have you guys ever been like sitting in your house or driving in your car and all of a sudden something comes up in your mind? You're thinking of someone or something and it just does not feel right. Okay. And what you do is that you try so hard to find out what's happening. You call them, you go to their house, whatever you need to do to find out about them. And you just don't have no information on there. Now, all of a sudden, there's like a vision that came to your mind. Well, I saw this person fall. or I saw that their house caught on fire, and you're thinking like, I don't know if this is truly happening. I need to find out, but there's no way you can find out about it. It's blowing you away. Then you start worrying and can't get no sleep, and not until you hear from the people that you were thinking of and the situations that they were in. And it's like the next day, so they call you back, and what they tell you say like they did fall. And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, that's what I thought. That, my friends, is what you call remote viewing. And you might not even know that you do it. There could be other words for it, but the what is it? Being an empath. There's so much stuff that goes on with this remote viewing that it's crazy. Now, just like in the paranormal field, okay, there's always that big debate between the scientific side and the paranormal side. And to this day, there's still a big, um, science say that there's not enough evidence to prove that this is happening. And then got the paranormal side saying, hey, listen, this is happening. This is what I saw. Somebody gave me a name and a place. And if I could see something at the place, what's happening? And usually someone sends them a picture, and then they close their eyes and they try to put themselves into that picture, that area in which they ask you to do it. Now, could it be astral planing? Could you astral plane and see this? Can we call astral planing remote viewing? Or could it be your third eye looking into this? Okay. But no one has an answer. Okay. And that's what drives paranormal people and scientific people crazy. Okay. Seriously. It is. My son being a scientist, he always has to have proof of everything. Everything. Okay. And a little background with my son, okay, his mom was Catholic and they went to church every Sunday growing up. He was an older boy, the whole 9 yards. And then all of a sudden he became a scientist. And he'll flatly come out and tell you that God doesn't exist. I'm not mad at him. I mean, it's his choice, you know, because there's no proof of him. There's no proof of God. So my son being the scientist, I can actually see where they're coming from. But if you know deep in your heart, on my side, okay, where it is the paranormal side, where it is the mystical side, I know for a fact, okay, what I believe in, okay? And trust me, I know a lot of remote viewers out there, and they're damn good. They're really, really, really good. But you have to keep it on the down low because there's so many people out there that will judge you harshly about it. Have I remote viewed before? Yes, I have. I have. I send hugs. People call me up and they say, Sean, can you send some hugs? And I send them hugs. and it seems to work, you know. But what bothers me the whole deal about this whole thing between remote viewing and the scientific side about it is that they don't agree. Why can't they just say, okay, let's do some scientific research, we'll do some experiments if you want to call it, and see how accurate they are. And from what I studied and what I researched, okay, for a while before the show, was that some of the experiments worked. And what's really, really crazy about it is that even though they were, hey, Joe Fox, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for coming. What's crazy about the experiments, like I said, they worked. But still, but still, the scientific community said, well, that was the luck of the draw. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You wanted the experiment. The person viewed the, you know, I know the one exercise is they'll give you coordinates, longitude, latitude, and they'll give you coordinates. And that test is the person who is doing remote viewing looks at these longitude, latitude numbers, and they have to tell what they see at that particular point. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say maybe 4.5 people got it right, which is amazing, which is great. Even if one person got it, that would be great. But, they just cannot accept the fact that there are people who are totally, Joe Fox says remote viewing and telekinesis go hand in hand. Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir. I didn't want to bring up the telekinesis part of this. Maybe I'll do that for another show. But I'd like to get a person that does remote viewing. But the scientists, just could not accept the answers that these remote viewers gave. So are we probably going to be fighting forever on everything? I can understand people paid a lot of money to go to school who are scientists. And for somebody to come off the street, somebody did not go to college, somebody just has this gift, but they can't accept it, you know. I remember one time, a little off track here, scientists and academics, Joe, yeah, you can throw up on them. But I'm not knocking anybody that went to school. God bless you guys. I'm not knocking you. I mean, if you got something out of college, great. It's just that if you became a scientist, that you would respect other people's gifts on what they can do, you know. But will there ever be a what can I say? Help me out, guys. An easy medium. That's a medium between scientific and paranormal into the remote viewers, which I would have to say could be, you can put that on the paranormal side, you know. I just don't know. What is everybody's thoughts on this? Can you please, who's in the chat room, please feel free to speak. Michelle says, I had experiences as a child. I totally believe in it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. If you'd like to share one of your experiences, feel free to. I can read it to everybody. Excuse me, I'm just settling in on the chair. But that's what Joe Fox says. We are living in a spiritual world, Sean, my friend. Every day I learn more and more listening to you and guys like you. Thank you, Joe. That was pretty nice. And you know, and I appreciate that you are learning stuff from me in the spiritual world. But you know what? I learned it from people before me. Oh yes, Michelle says the government has done research on the download. There's more than the download, Michelle, but I got some information about that I'd like to read. So, remote viewing is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen object, purportedly sensing with the mind. A remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, persons, or location hidden from physical view and separated at some distance. Cindy Simpson says, I believe in remote viewing as my friend Sue is very gifted at remote viewing. And there's a lot of people out there, Cindy, that are gifted. And I know one right now. I know a couple, two or three of them, but the one I know personally, I'm telling you, she's the best. And I believe that, they didn't have to work on it. That spirit actually gave them the gift to do it. My problem is, Cindy, is that no one will give them kudos on that. You know what I mean? No one will give them kudos, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. I really do. You know. And yes, the military, the government, they did do experiments. In fact, I've got some stuff here. Of course, I got my notes, so I'll be reading off my notes here. But the history, in early occult and spiritual literature, remote viewing was known as telesesia, whatever, Telesthesia, and traveling clairvoyance. Rosemary Gully described it as seeing remote or hidden objects clairvoyantly with the inner eye, or an alleged out-of-body travel. I believe that. And that's why I mentioned it earlier about that. Are we using the third eye? Are the remote viewers using their third eye? Are they doing an astral going to the place? When they go into, let's just say if they do astral to the place that they're going, do they bring guides with them? Do they bring their angels with them to protect them? Because you really don't know what's going to happen, what's in store. You know, what's I mean, there could be something really negative there. There could be something very evil in there. And when you go and travel out of your body, you're just like wide open for anything. I've had a lot of astral projections. Anybody in my chat room that had any astral projections, if you want to, please tell us about it. We'd like to hear from you. In this room, you can talk whatever you want to talk about and say what you want to say, because the people who are in my chat room, the people who listen to my show, they don't judge. They don't judge what other people think. I won't let them judge, because the only person that can judge me is the big guy upstairs when I die. So you can say whatever you want. And what I love about my group here in the chat room is that people respect. People respect you. Michelle says, Sister and I were playing a game in bed. I said I can see Mom and Dad downstairs. Dad making a sandwich and didn't put pickles away. Sister got afraid, got up and went downstairs, told Mom, and Mom called me downstairs. Joe Fox says, many years ago, I purchased a book on astral travel, but never read it. It shows I've been interested in at a pretty early age. I take it more seriously now. Well, I'm glad you do, Joe. I'm glad you do. Michelle comes back and says, Mom asked me, how did I know Dad didn't put the pickles away? Seeing them, she told me not to play no more. And there you go. Back then. And that brings up another point. Back then, you couldn't tell your parents, when I was growing up, you couldn't tell your parents that you saw your dead grandma. Or, yeah, Michelle says, I seen them in my head. And that's where they're at, Michelle. Right there in the middle, third eye. But see, Michelle, here's the deal, with it. It's that you told your sister, and your sister went down and told your mom. And your mom didn't like that. And she told you not to play no more games. And that's the way I was raised almost. I used to see a lot of spirits back then, and then I could never, ever, ever tell my mom or my dad. One time I told my brother, and I knew I shouldn't have done it, but everything was okay. I felt scared at that time telling my brother. But you have to be careful when you use this remote viewing. If you use your psychic gifts, if you do astral travel, and if you do use your third eye, and when you want to talk about it, find people who you can trust talking about it. And that would be other mystics, that would be other people in the communities that you can talk about it. Because for the longest time, I had nobody to talk to about it. And I really thought I was going crazy. I really thought that I was like, there was something definitely wrong with me. I really did. And yes, it was scary. And especially with the astral traveling, I didn't know how to control it. I mean, it would be like going to sleep every night and knowing that I am going to be getting out of my body. Everything went for me. Now I don't know about other people, but when I go and do my astral, right, everything is black and white to me. That's what I see. I do not see colors. I don't see colors at all. I just see black and white. And I usually don't go very far. I'm usually staying close to my body because I'm afraid to go out there further. But when I do it, what's really crazy is that I see other spirits in my room. Like full body. Like if I went up to Cindy Simpson and said, and I was saying hello to Cindy, that's how they look like to me. And the crazy thing is whenever I go back into my body, it's a weird feeling. Trust me, it's a weird feeling. But I would like, I mean, I get all shaky, I get goosebumpy, I sweat, and it's just not a good feeling. So lately, um, I really haven't been astral planing. I have some wicked lucid dreams where I was actually in that dreams, and those are crazy, man. Those are crazy. I'll get that. I'll get on with that a little bit later on in the show. But I want to share this one astral, traveling thing. I was divorced. I was living over in Penn Hills in an apartment. I had my son that day. And that night, I had an out of body, and I'm sitting on top. I'm sitting on my bed. I see my body. I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm looking down at my son. As God is my witness, this is true. My son had an out of body experience too, and this is true. And he gave me a hug and said, "Daddy, I love you." And then he went back into his body, and that's the truth. That's a true story. But actually seeing my son do an astral, that was craziness. But you know what? It was okay. And then I went back into my body. I didn't talk. I didn't tell nobody. I sure as hell didn't tell his mom about it. But that was the best astral I ever had. Joe Fox says people who are accomplished at remote viewing, no astral, tell us that it's very easy to do, just like whistling. I can't really do it, but I know once I learn, I too think I will be saying it's easy. Interesting, Joe. Interesting. I'm going to have to ask my friend about that, you know? Like right now, as you all know, for me, I don't investigate the paranormal no more. I don't. But there's still a lot of my past clients that do call me and they'll say, "What's going on in my house?" And I said, "Just send me pictures. Send me pictures of your house. Send me pictures of the room. Send me something." And then what I'll do that night is I will meditate, look at those pictures, and try to find out what's happening. Yes, I do that. And I'm not ashamed to say that, you know, but I do that. And usually I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about an 8, you know. But I'm the type of person that will tell you straight out, this is what I see. Now, it might be right, it might be wrong, I don't know. But this is what I see. So, yes, I do I do some of that remote viewing. And to be honest with you, everybody out here, if you gave me coordinates, I wouldn't, you know what? I would doubt myself. I couldn't do it because I doubted myself because I'd be scared. Yes, I do get scared. The two reasons I get scared is because people, A, will ridicule me and tell me I'm full of shit, and B, beat myself up really bad because I didn't get it right. No matter how hard and how much trust, you know, and and doubt. And I learned never to doubt what I see, hear, feel, or smell. And there are times though, if someone gave me that, um, the coordinates, I would be too scared to do it. But if you show me a picture or something, yeah, not a problem. I can definitely do something like that. But this show isn't about me. It show's about you guys in remote viewing. Um, so this telemnesia, the definition is the ability to know that something has happened or is in a space without using hearing, seeing, touch, or smell. And that's what remote viewing was known as. I wish I could pronounce that word or have somebody come in and tell me what that word's all about. Joe Fox says, one thing I've failed to do is meditation. I'm big on manifesting. I believe I've accomplished manifesting once about 2 years ago. That's cool. I tell you what, Joe, the big thing for me is meditation. Oh my God. That's all I did when I first got into um, the mystical world. It was, I mean, people taught me how to meditate, and then I learned how to meditate on my own. And meditation really took me to places where I'm at right now. So if you can find somebody, Joe, to help you meditate, that would be great. You know, it really would be. The study of psychic phenomena by major scientists started in the mid 19th century. Early researchers included Michael Faraday, Alfred Russel Wallace, Rufus Osgood, Mason and William Crookes. Their work predominantly involved carrying out focused experimental tests on individuals thought to be physically gifted. No, I'm sorry, psychically gifted. And the reports of apparently successful tests were met with such skepticism from the scientific community. Well, there you go. It's right there. Black and white. You know, like I told you before, no matter how right you are, there's some skeptics. So why attempt to do something? Why, you know, use your gifts when you know for a fact that you're going to get skepticized. That's what I call it, skepticized. I don't know. Maybe we should all just like keep it to ourselves. And Michelle, God bless you, girl. Oh, Sebastian Moore, Alfred Russel Wallace was an interesting man. I think he worked with Darwin. Okay. I'm going to have to look him up. These guys that I'm mentioning names tonight, I really didn't think about it. I was just picking it up off the computer. But you know what? I think I'm going to look these guys up and try and do a little show about that. Michelle says, thick skin in this game. It's not easy. Family and friends thought I was crazy till I got cameras. Mm-hmm. And Michelle goes, I'm okay now. I believe it. That's what matters. And that is true, Michelle. But the driving point behind that, my friend, honestly, is that you have all this evidence and you know it's happening. Okay? But there's that one little part inside your body, one part of you that wants to say, I need to tell somebody about this. So they wouldn't think I'm crazy. Been there, done that. So who is it? Okay. So they call this remote viewing pseudoscience. It's a collection of beliefs, statements, or practices that are presented as scientific and factual, but not capable with scientific methods. It's also characterized as contradictory or unfallible confirmation bias. I'm glad you're here, hon. I'm glad you're here. That is so cool. I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you listened to my show. Joe Fox says, this is why I love your show. Always great topics in non-judgmental atmosphere. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. I'll say that again. Joe says, this is why I love your show. Always great topics in non-judgmental atmosphere. Thank you, brother. Thank you for saying that, my friend. But listen, we're past the 30-minute mark. I'm going to take a little quick break. Guys need to smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do. I'll see you back here in 70 seconds. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second part of my show, Into the Night, with me, Sean Kelly. Want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And I also want to thank Carnation for being one of my sponsors for my shows on Sunday night and Tuesday nights. As you all know, I have a Tuesday night show too, 8:10 to 9:10 on UPRN Talk Radio. So in the first half of the show, we were talking about remote viewing. Is it mystical? Is it scientific? So everybody out here listening, people in the chat room, I'm going to ask you that question. What do you think remote viewing is? Is it mystical or is it scientific? Like I said, you can answer if you want. If you don't, that's okay too. No one's here to judge you. But I have couple more stuff that I'd like to share with you that I looked at. I mean, I don't know. For me, when I look for something, I get so many. I get printed out. Oh, also, I want to thank the Castle Shannon Library here in Castle Shannon for letting me do my research there. Okay, they let me print out stuff that I find on the internet. C.E.M. Hansel, who evaluated the remote viewing experiments of parapsychologists such as Puthoff, Targ, Bishop, and Brenda J. Doon, noted that there was a lack of controls and precautions were not taken to rule out the possibility of fraud. He concluded the experimental design was inadequately reported and too loosely controlled to serve any useful function. The psychologist Ray Hyman says that even if the results from remote viewing experiments were reproduced under specific conditions, they would still not be a conclusive demonstration of the existence of psychic functioning. He blames this on the reliance of a negative outcome. The claims on ESP are based on results of experiments not being explained by normal means. What a bunch of horseshit. What a bunch of horsecrap. Excuse my language. Joe Fox says, definitely mystical. Science is a human way of explaining something we have no ideas about. Thank you for your answer, Joe. Joe Fox says it's mystical. Anybody else? Michelle, Sebastian, Cindy, please tell me what you think. Do a little polling here. Is it mystical or is it scientific? But what I just read, think about it, guys and girls. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, they're always going to debate it. Hey, Jolie, good to see you. Thank you for coming into the show. Appreciate it. Michelle says both. They're going to deny it, no matter which way you go with it. So the question you have to ask yourself, do you want to go through all that torment? Do you need to go through and listen to a bunch of bullcrap what these people are saying? Like Michelle said earlier, you know, as long as you know that you are right, okay, then that's all that matters. What you see in remote viewing, you know. Um, and the hell with everybody else. Now, I just wouldn't go out there and like say, okay, after Sean show, I'm going to go to bed, close my eyes, and I'm going to remote view something, okay, without knowing what remote viewing is. But let me ask you guys a question out here. It just popped into my mind. Isn't it amazing how things just pop into your mind? If you do remote view on somebody without telling them, okay, like you want to know about the girl you're dating or the guy you're dating and stuff. I know, Joe, it does fly by really fast. But let me ask you this question again. What if you met a girl or you met a guy and you're like, okay, I want to remote view them, and you know you can remote view them because you know you can do it. My question is it, man, I just lost it. Are you invading their privacy? I would like to hear your answers. To remote view somebody without their knowledge, would you consider that invading privacy? When you're meeting somebody and you're not really sure what they're like, and you empath them, are you invading their privacy without asking them their permission? All the time, all my life that I've been into um, reading people, empathing people, remote viewing people, I never, ever, ever would invade their privacy. Honestly, I would not do that. So I cannot remote Simply Sue. I remote viewing worked with PIs to help find missing people. God bless you, Simply Sue. Thank you, Sue. That is sweet. And that's great. And see, look at Sue. She does it to help PIs. I've helped the Pittsburgh Police Department a couple times, you know. But as long Cindy invited you in, thank you for inviting Sue in. Wow, that's cool. Love you, girl. Love Cindy. She's like my best friend in the whole wide world. But is is it invading somebody's privacy? I believe it is. I truly do. And so I don't do that unless I get permission from other people to do it. When it comes down to remote viewing, okay, here's my thoughts because we're really getting close to the end there. My thoughts is remote viewing is awesome. It's great. Love you too, Cindy. Remote viewing is a tool that is used for the good. Now, it could be used for the bad, but I think it is definitely used for the good. You need to do that. We need to have people who can remote view. We have to because, I mean, someone calls me from West Virginia or Ohio, and they say, Sean, can you look at this picture and tell me what you see? Instead of me driving in my car, traveling 6 to 8 hours just to sit in the house and doing what I would be doing by looking at a picture. Joe Fox says, I would love to remote view my high school crush, but I probably wouldn't. I don't think. Ah, now see, there, I'll tell you what, forgot to tell you though, and this is true, and I'm sure Sue and whoever reads and whoever does psychic work, if you use your gift for your own personal advantage, you're going to get bit in the ass by spirit. Honest to God, you will get bit in the ass. I've been bit many a time. I've been bit many a time. And the other thing that you need to watch out for is your ego. Sure, you do some stuff for people. You look at pictures, tell them what's up, do a little bit of empath work, and then you do some remote viewing and stuff like that. And you knock it right on the money. You're right on the money with it. And then all of a sudden you start getting a big head and you start getting an ego. And my friends, honest to Pete, spirit will come back and bite you in the butt and make life really, really hard for you. Michelle says, psychic that help detectives find missing amazing is amazing when they find missing. It is. It really is. But you know, I worked on a murder case here in Pittsburgh. Got it. We got the person, but they could never use me because I was a psychic. That was a long time ago. But they couldn't use it. So when I found the body and when I told the person who did it, they couldn't arrest them. Joe Fox says, see, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to cross spirit. And that's okay. That's a good fear, Joe. That's a good fear. If you use your gifts right, if you use them correctly, like they are told that you are told to use them, how you're supposed to use them, you're going to be surprised how far up the ladder you'll get. More gifts will be revealed to you. Your strength, your power, your ESP, empath, whatever word you want to say, it will become a lot stronger. It really will be. But if I could tell you the biggest, not excuse, but the biggest thing in this field, the remote viewing, the psychic, the empath, the readers, the whole nine yards, you have to do it with humility, pure humility. You have to be totally humble when you do this work. You do. Again, if you don't do it while being humble, and again, spirit will bite you in the butt. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, it's cool being a psychic, it's cool doing this, it's cool doing that. You know what? It is, but there are really some hardcore consequences out there that you may, end up with. And we don't want to see that happen. Can never be afraid, Joe. Can never be afraid. And if I can give you one more piece of advice, everybody, and especially when you're learning how to do this type of work, never, ever, ever doubt yourself. Seriously, never doubt. Always trust what you hear, what you see, and what you feel, and what you smell. Always, always, always trust it. And I'll be the first one to tell you, okay? It's hard. It's so hard. But until you get to the point where you can trust what you see, hear, feel, and smell, you got it licked. But please don't ever use it for your advantage. Use it for the good, the way it's supposed to be done. Use it for the good. And Michelle's right. Stay humble, extremely humble. So this wrapping up to the end of the show. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Don't forget, I do have a show on Tuesday night. Oh, I have a favor to ask anybody out there if you can help me out. Um, I want to do a show on the Appalachian cryptids, and I want to do one on the mythology of the Appalachians. I really don't know who to get in contact with. So if you know anybody that I could talk to, okay, um, please send me a message and tell me their names. Please, I appreciate it. Somebody that knows about the folklore, the mysticism, the cryptids of the Appalachians. That would be so great. Sebastian Moran says many TV psychics are fake. Yes, cold readers. I have met some real ones. I don't think any are real on TV. And that could be it for another show, Mr. Moran. We can do that. We can talk about it because I totally agree with you on that. But everybody, thank you for coming into the show tonight. Thank you for all the people who talked in the chat rooms. It was nice to see my friends, Joe, Michelle, Sebastian, Cindy, everybody. Thank you for coming in. I truly appreciate that. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no children, if you have no parents, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, everybody, good night. Have a good evening. See you Tuesday night. Happy hunting.